Now, last episode, I set up a shop that allowed me to sell all of my enchants, and it is called the Black Market Forge. Forge responsibly, or don't. But this is actually one of 3 major shops that I do want to get set up, and this one took me quite a while to set up, and thus, I was only able to get this one done, simply because of how long it actually took to get all of the enchantments set up, and also build out the infrastructure to make sure this guy was working. But now I did add a few details. For example, I added a track here just to make sure that no mobs could get through, added the iron bars up top to make it look like it slots in here, and then a little drainage area right here. And then you can't forget the live, laugh, leave mat that I added as graffiti on the floor. Now, if you missed it, purchases from this end up going directly into this bookshelf. I thought that was a kind of a neat delivery system, so that way people could buy their books, come over here, and they could also buy the experience to forge their goods. This, I hope, will pay off in the end, as I don't expect this to be something that is used quite a lot after everybody sort of gets a taste of it. It's going to be a little bit of an expensive endeavor, considering how expensive all of these books are going to cost. So now, what's on the agenda today? Well, if you read the title, you'd probably already know. We're building ourselves a speakeasy that is going to contain all of the dyes to sell, and I'm also going to finally get the XP shop, which is going to be set up over here, which is going to allow everyone to pop in here, buy some XP, and it's also going to be filled to the brim with XP just everywhere on the interior. It's going to be a very, very bright place. But you know what? I do live stream over on Twitch. I mean, if you didn't know already, and if you haven't followed me over there already, then I don't know what you're doing. But I have definitely streamed a lot of this pack over there. And most of that I do stream ends up in time-lapse footage, just like what you're about to watch, because I had a job to do today, and that was I needed to reroute the train because, well, the train is actually causing crashing going through the nether portal. Yeah, that train. Truck? Boat? So, without further ado, roll that funky time lapse. Now, hopefully you enjoyed that time lapse, and this is what I've technically done. I have rerouted the entire train. We have everything situated, all the things and stuff set up. It's currently filling, and it now has a sort of straight chute that leads all the way over here. And you're going to notice the elevation change, well, is something that I had to do, but a normal train may not be able to climb those heights, right? But this is a truck. It's a boat. It's a truck called a boat. You know what? It is what it is. But this right here is what I ended up getting set up. It's not decorated or anything fancy just yet. I think that's another project for another day. But I just wanted to show you that this now makes its way all the way over here to be able to load and unload these goods. And it may even be a bit faster now that it's not going through the portal, but man, I wish that crashing bug would be fixed one of these days. I know it's not just a my PC thing, it's a rendering crash issue thing, and like Eggs was also experiencing it. Or no, something to do with rendering a bogey or something. But anyways, back to actually setting up an XP shop, and I have all of this XP and this XP to technically be able to sell. And I think a lot of people want experience, because it's kind of a pain. Like, I mean, there's only a few ways you get XP, and it's not easy to just simply repair all of your tools with the normal XP that you get from that. I mean, it's just not enough. It's not going to last you very long. So, for example, I've had to spend a lot of time at like Stam's Creeper Farm to repair my stuff. Like the old school farm that we had, it doesn't cut it either. Like using that to repair your stuff takes a long time. Whereas this, I mean, is instant. You craft it into your hand, you put the tool in your offhand, and you just simply, boom, look at that. already almost completely repaired. I can just repair everything right here. Elytra. I mean, with just one stack, I mean, we can simply repair most of our tools back to full strength. Like, this is the way to go. And is why I think I'm going to sell this possibly a stack at a time, or maybe I should do 32 for 1 diamond, or maybe a stack for 2 diamonds. I'm thinking I should go stack for 2 diamonds. You know, I'm not thinking this is going to be a super profitable sort of shop. Definitely not like the Maw is, as the Maw is setting it like, I don't know, 1,200 some odd diamonds in there, like a lot. But this is more to help everyone on the server. Because, I mean, if I didn't build this, I would have hoped somebody else would have, because I really wanted these experience, or because it's getting really rough going back and forth to that farm. And I'm also technically providing free looting labor while I'm over there too. I mean, the XP's worth it. Now, on top of those shops, you may be wondering, what are my future plans? And I've been thinking about those future plans, and those future plans are going to involve possibly setting up some pretty large scale infrastructure that's going to take place over here. So I'm thinking massive cobblestone generator or multiple cobblestone generators. And those cobblestone generators are powering a lot of other products. For example, making more andesite. So making more gravel, making more flint, having lava actually over at this farm, and then producing things like a cobblestone, of course, from the cobblestone factory, and then tuff. So that way we can make zinc, and then making dripstone. Tons of it, by the way, so we can have an abundance of copper. And that's going to also require some granite. All kinds of stuff here is going to be required. So red sand automation, just a pretty large, like way bigger than I've ever done before setup. I'm thinking like possibly having an entire processing line for each of these material types. For example, I am going to want to constantly produce zinc, copper, and iron over here and just have an abundant supply of it. And I think this might become one of my biggest projects on the server thus far. Because up to this point, I've built tiny little things, tiny little projects. They're small, they're itsy bitsy in comparison to what I'm about to build. But anyways, that's just future me thinking, because I usually do think larger than actually doable. It's a lot of logistics to think about. It's a lot of processing to think about. But it should all be doable, and I should be able to produce all of those resources so that I can use, for example, the copper for building, the zinc for building, because it's used for copycats, but also I can make brass and have brass fully automated on my end. And hopefully by the time Stam is done with his redstone farm, we can also incorporate that in, and I could possibly have all of that added together in the build as well. Like, that would be fantastic. And that would allow for a lot more automation of things, like just literally taking everything and literally automating everything. Like, I have this big plan of like this being like my magnum opus of like create, right? Just this big massive project. I'm getting ahead of myself, ain't I? I think it's time for overambitious Chosen to kind of chill out for a moment and get down and dirty with some more XP and getting this set up first, and then finally we'll start working on that speakeasy down here. And I gotta come up with a special way that I could give people access to this place. I don't know, that's gonna have to be a more clever device. Now, the XP shop, just like all of our other shops, we gotta start with something to hold our XP, and that's gonna be a item vault. Now, at this point, you guys are probably shop experts. Like, you know how to set up a shop. You guys are doing pretty good at that at this point, I bet. But still, we need to make more packagers, and I just realized I'm actually getting pretty low on packagers. You know what? That means I could actually do some shopping, and I'm pretty sure Eggs is still selling cardboard. Just gotta make my way over here, down into the back alley, where I can grab myself, yes, some cardboard. Very nice. Quite a bit of it. Oh, wait, is this... Oh, it's 256 per. Oh, wow. Okay, that really starts to... That's a lot of cardboard. Not even a lot of diamonds, just a lot of cardboard. Okay, but I needed it. And with this placed in here, it does mean that the packager is probably going to need to go into the back. And I think, yeah, about 1 block away here. And I did go ahead and get those all crafted up. But do I want to just deposit? I mean, this is just going to be XP blocks. This should be pretty simple. So having it feed into something. It's only a single type too. I mean, either way, we got to have a packager that is linked here with a stock link to do the requesting. And we also need to get ourselves a stock ticker and probably figure out how we're going to do this. Are we going to have this packaged? Either way, we got to get the package down here. Now, I think this would be kind of funny. The more I think about this is if we do have, for example, a barrel right here, and I think I did give myself enough room. So we have a barrel, and then what we do is we then take directly out of that barrel with a chute. Yes, I think that'll look actually pretty interesting. I am going to need another packager. So just like we did on the other side, the items from the packager come out, and then the boxed stuff gets unboxed into the barrel, and then we have that dropped into a depot. Now, the depot will only hold one stack, but that's not going to be a problem because the chute allows it to just hover directly on top of the depot. And I think that would be kind of hilarious, so that way they can just walk up and collect their experience. It's literally an experience shower minus the actual experience part. You get what I mean. As far as colors go, orange would probably look really, really nice. And I could flip this around. Oh, that's right. You can't flip it upside down. So I need something to flip it upside down. So this would be like the office desk area. And I'm thinking we have that continue over here. We can put a little trap door, and then we just need to cover this in the copper cables. That way I can have my stock ticker right here kind of hidden. And this spot right here could be where you buy the XP. I just got to figure out what mob do I want in here, and then all of the other decoration, because I don't want this to just be a simple static shop. Now about that shopkeeper, yes. What if we ended up doing a cartographer? I think the cartographer face like fits this theme so well, especially since now it seems like we're dipping into the 1920s era. I don't know. I even have a funny name for this guy. And I'm really hoping that villagers work as the stock tickers. So if I place this guy on here, he sees the cartography table, but does it have to be like right next to him for him to change? Okay, it does. I mean, but once we trade with him once, it should be like permanent, I think. And then we can actually move the station. So we'll just buy a map here. I love the look on your face. That is fantastic. And yes, move this, and I can still place it over here. Wait, whoa, buddy. How is he shooting him through the wall? I mean, I'm gonna have to reinforce this. I can't have him shooting my villager. How did that even go through the wall? Like, can you technically shoot through the mud block? How did that happen? Anyways, how about Orb Baron? I don't know. Orb Baron just seems like a hilarious name. Like for XP orbs. I don't know. That just sounded funny to me. I wonder, does this automatically update with the stock ticker? So if I place it on first, because I've actually only placed it on after the fact, but we place the stock ticker down here, place this down. Oh, he does automatically convert. Oh, that's nice. Look at this guy though. He looks so good. It looks, you're going to be a great shopkeeper, I tell you. And we'll make sure to lock that just like I've locked all of them that are shops. And now we've just got to load the stuff in, and I can use my patented Vault Loader-O-Matic 9000, which will go right here. And beautiful. Now, I was also thinking, what could I do to make these windows look a little bit nicer? Because you can actually see the vault from the outside. And I was thinking like maybe having some flowers on the inside that would make this look a little bit better, because I mean, still looking in here, that looks so empty. But there's another thing we could do. We could put like posters like on the inside of the window and then kind of cover that up where it does look like there's different stuff on the inside. But that seems way more complicated than I think I'm willing to do. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas that flow through this noggin of mine that doesn't always, it doesn't always turn out. All right, now I've grabbed a few shulker boxes. It's time for me to fly back over to the base because I don't have like an auto loader solution just yet. And I need to restock or get the stock technically in here. but I do have a unloader over here. I don't know. I feel like my loader solutions have been pretty nice. They've not been that bad. I mean, I wouldn't mind eventually having like some way to restock by using like a storage truck or something. I'd have to figure that system all out. I still don't know. Stam's not described it to me yet. But back over at the XP Lodge, we have about 1,000 or 11,000, right? There's almost 12,000 actually. And that means that I should be able to fill all of these shulker boxes. That seems like it's going to be a pretty decent supply. I mean, I don't think that a lot of people are really going to need that much XP. I mean, that's a lot of XP. Because I guess you could use this for decoration. They do make really nice light sources, but at the end of the day, it's also probably going to be, I mean, it's just going to mostly be used, I would assume, to just repair gear and tools. And this is also such a satisfying thing, just watching it all roll. I mean, I love this. Now, after unloading about 10,000 blocks of XP into this container, I'm starting to think maybe I should charge like a diamond for 16 blocks. Is that still too much? Like, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Like, I still want this to be needed. And if you buy a whole bunch of them, based on my usage of these blocks right here, I mean, I feel like 16 is good. It takes about 16 blocks to sort of repair like a tool or something. And it takes about 8 of them to repair an elytra from like nearly completely broken. So I think that 16 for 1 diamond seems pretty fair and would also potentially keep them coming back. And also keeping my stock in stock. And with the amount we have in here, it equates, if all of this was used up, to about 643 diamonds, give or take, which is, I think, pretty decent profit for the amount of time that I had to AFK for that farm. And from what I was hearing about the bragging of how many diamonds everyone has from, you know, eggs and also Sam, I mean, you know, it seems like they got the diamonds to spend, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm gonna take you and we are going to set this up. Let's see, right here, I'm gonna say 16 of you should be decent. That's gonna go there, and 16 for 1 diamond. I mean, yeah, that seems like a good, fair deal, but it is super empty in here, so I think it's time to decorate this place up. And unfortunately, like I mentioned last episode, we don't have like liquid versions of this XP. The only thing we can do is potentially just pipe XP in some way or make containers look like they have XP in them, even though that's also very difficult. But yeah, we definitely could get this looking pretty good. Probably have some tanks to go with that copper and stacks of these blocks. Also, what's it look like when we request several of these? I just want to watch it fall out because it's going to just spit it out onto the ground here, 16 at a time. I love that. That is actually hilarious. And then you just walk up and pick it up. And that's it. Look at this. With a little bit of decoration, I have a frog port that is being spouted into, and then added some tanks. I do got to get some XP in these tanks. I think using the XP drain is going to be the easiest way to do that and just take the XP directly out of me. This will also, I think, allow me to see how much experience it actually takes or how many blocks it actually takes here to be able to get to 60 levels. For example, this is 16, or not 60 levels, 30 levels. So 2 stacks of these give you 15 levels, and then it starts to definitely decline from there. Let's do 16 more. And by the way, if you hold control, you can do like 10 at a time. So we got to 16 here, and we'll keep converting. We're doing math. Okay, so we get to level 23. That's 2 purchases, so 2 diamonds. Do another 16. Thankfully, I have all of this in stock, right? All right, and 26, 28. And we are so close. Okay, so it does take about a stack of blocks, give or take. So, I mean, I think that's pretty fair. 4 diamonds to jump you like immediately to 30 levels. That's a lot of XP. That's quite a bit. Now, this should put me right at 30. Okay, so it takes a little under that amount. Like it takes a little under that for these experience nuggets. So I mean, yeah, to get to level 30 takes about 7 stacks or so of nuggies in general. Like that's That's pretty decent, honestly. Now for the entrance, I was thinking about using an experience lantern, but unfortunately it does require sponge and I haven't gone after any sponge. I'd have to go like to an ocean monument and I'd have to go through that old trouble. I don't know. Just for something that could technically steal a player's XP, I thought it would be kind of funny. Like it just drains them of their base XP. But anyways, that's maybe for another time. It would be kind of hilarious, but I did get the stall set up and then I've got most of the XP in the tanks. It takes a lot of blocks of XP. Remember, I had quite a few. I've used already so many of these XP blocks just to fill these tanks. But yeah, this is to hopefully encourage like not using this for these operations and enchanting and stuff, but primarily using it to just repair your stuff on the fly. With a few copycat bites and also a little panels and also some buttons, it made this look a lot better. And then we have room for a painting over here or some propaganda posters, maybe? Like we could potentially put up some like Prohibition style die posters. I just have to come up with them and kind of maybe take like original poster designs like from back then, like our snippets, and kind of edit them. I could probably edit some and make some kind of interesting ones related to dye, well, instead of alcohol. And with this shop basically done and ready to go, I'm going to start cleaning up some of these windows. And what I was thinking, placing just some grass in the window bay area and then using trapdoors to cover this up, well, as much as I can from the window view. You got to keep in mind that when you look up, you see the bottom section here. And so I could cover that like this and possibly cover this, or I could even put a block, I think, in between. That actually might look a little bit better, but we could use some different stuff. For example, I have these different types of leaves, which I think would look pretty interesting, like stuff like this, and maybe including a few different types. And then up at the top, you know, maybe do some roses here and there, more of these leaves, just kind of mixing and matching and creating different variations. Now I want to see what this looks like from the outside, because that's the place where they'll get seen the most. It definitely helps in concealing like what is actually in there, you know, with it being just like an empty box. You know what? I think that turned out really nice. Like it definitely adds a little bit of like variance in the windows, and you don't see as much of what's going on in the background with that in there. Now with this shop in place, time to come up with a nameplate, and yeah, the store's name is going to be a little bit interesting. I want to go with something funny as always. But what should we do? Now, if you're a little bit of Photoshop work, it's not the best, but it's the best I can do for right now. Espresso. Get your XP fast. I mean, the name XP, you get it. You get it, right? I don't know. I thought that name was absolutely fitting there. I mean, a little bit of like name, like searching, trying to figure out what would be a good name for an XP shop. And this was definitely one of the best. Don't get me wrong, if you have any other ideas and cool names for this, it makes me laugh when I read them in the comments. So if you got something even better, definitely be sure to hit me up in the comment section here, because I would love to hear what you guys have to say, and it always gives me a nice chuckle. Now with all of that out of the way, we have our XP shop up. It's now time for probably the part you've been looking forward to. How am I going to make myself a speakeasy? Now to get started on this project, I do need to build a room, and my goodness, is this absolutely ridiculous looking underneath here. There is so much stuff going on, but I am lining the bottom section here, and I want this to be in a dark oak theme, because every image that I've seen of like these speakeasies, they've been kind of dark and I don't know, this dark oak I think is going to look really, really good down there. And there's going to be a mixture of brass. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, the big part about this is not exactly the way it looks, but how we actually get down in here. You're getting a little bit of the floor done. I've got the wall set up. I'm using like stripped logs to kind of simulate like a wood panel. We have like a wood panel on the ceiling that's probably going to end up changing before long, but I did want to incorporate a little bit of brick in here and some scoria pillars, a little bit of the scorchy at the bottom, deep slate, just some different black and gray materials. But over here, this is where things get a little bit interesting, because I want the exit to be a sewer, and I want the entrance to be some sort of hidden access port that allows you to get down here. But the way you exit is going to be through this sewer, which leads through a drain hole, which I'm still yet to figure out exactly how I'm going to lead someone out the drain hole. That's going to be something I've got to figure out, but this is going to be a sewer tunnel, which is going to be stairs, kind of mixing and matching like this, that runs along the sides. You know, your typical sewer, right? And then it exits right out into this, and I've got to figure out how am I going to do that? Yeah, I think like this works out fine. And I don't know how I'm going to incorporate some water into this possibly, but I would like to have water in here. It just means that I'll have to figure out the flooring a little bit. I would love to have it like be a slab or something. And that just means I have to extend out the outside, because technically this whole area is kind of pushing into the train tracks a little bit. It doesn't stop the functionality of the train tracks, but I mean, nobody's going to be looking at this anyways. Let's get into how I'm actually going to grant access to this place, because it is going to be pretty hidden. And I'm wondering how many people are actually going to find out about this place, because I want to put some hints around, but I actually don't want to tell anybody. I just want to show them that the shop does exist. They're going to kind of have to find it. I mean, unless they do use free cam, then I guess that would be the case. But copycat fights are going to allow me to build out subsections of the slab, which is going to contain a little cutout right here, like a little drain. But in here is going to be a full block. And I want it to be weathered iron, and I want to use the copycat ghost block. This is a pretty cool block. If I go ahead and put this here, I can go through it and people can come out of it, literally coming out of a drain. And I wish there was like slab versions of it, and maybe there will be in the future, but these little bites here allow me to connect this up, and I can continue to build the pathway where it looks absolutely seamless here. Problem is, if I did continue this out, you wouldn't be able to fit through this block, but I wanted it to kind of look like a drain, or I guess a little bit of a manhole cover, right? I mean, that's more likely to be what it is. A little manhole hole cover, but we put this here, that gets us a connected section. And actually, I guess we don't really need the bites here, right? Because we're not carrying this over. Oh, you know what? Unless I do use the bites to make it look like this is purposely rounded here. Ooh, that's nice looking. And then I can fill that in just like so. Ooh, it doesn't connect the textures, unfortunately, but maybe regular andesite over here. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna work. That looks a bit more natural, still different. The texture's a little bit different, but I mean, it covers it up, and we have this nice little drain outlet, I guess you could call it, that leads down into, yes, a little sewer way. And that little sewer way leads into what is going to be the Speakeasy shop. Now, I originally had it planned to make an entrance from within the shop itself, but I think I'm going to stick with this being the entrance and the exit. I think that is a pretty nice thing I could do. And then right here, I could have this be where the actual chute goes from our vault, right? Oh yeah, this could work. I just got to figure out how to get this over here. Probably just a bunch of drains sending the package out, and that will end up in the chute, and that will make its way all the way down into the basement area. I mean, it's just going to be a bunch of chutes leading all the way down here. So before I get any of the wall decorations up, I want to use these walls, I think, as like the bar area, and then I want to add a few stools here and there. But on top of this is actually going to be all the different color dyes, and it's also going to be on different color tablecloths. I think I want to do the different color tablecloths so that way it really distinguishes which dyes. Well, actually, you know what? I should probably just stick to one color, right? I mean, to kind of keep with the theme, I really want to do brass, I think. Now, I'm thinking to get the items out, this would be kind of cool. We have a funnel system that looks just like this. We can put ourselves a trapdoor here for now to kind of block it off. And then whenever somebody requests the dyes, we can send it out of here, and then it will flow onto here, bounce off all the way until it makes its way over here. And I don't know if it needs to be taller than this. Actually, we might need to extend this just a little bit, but I can just simply pull out a bunch of barrels. Like this isn't a problem, like that. So we make it just one taller, and I'm thinking that it will pick it up, like so long as this is turned correctly. And then we can have it all end up inside of this barrel for pickup. Like that could work, right? So if I put a chute like this and then do another brass funnel, that will just spit the product out, and you'll end up with this kind of cool looking thing whenever you order. So that way it's not super boring. Like, you're not just watching your package go, you actually get to watch it leap from here. And speaking of leaping from here, it does literally leap. Like, if I toss this on here, look at it get tossed in the air and then get sent this way. I mean, that's so cool. Now, to get into the decorating, which is honestly my favorite part, I'm gonna add a few of the froggies into here. I mean, you gotta have frogs laying about. But I was thinking this is like maybe a good height here to have the bartender or die tender down in the back. I mean, it's 2 blocks tall, kind of almost perfect back here. And yeah, so the shopkeeper could be back here. And there's enough space because of this with the storage overhang. And we also want girders, and I think I want to use girders to hold these drawer supports up. Still got to figure out though how to make the roof look a little bit nicer, because this is still pretty bland. Maybe we can connect these some way. I've got a lot of this cool stuff done. Now I have the packager that is going to request the dies from the vault here. That is going to get sent into this chute. That chute is then going to send it into the packager to be unpackaged, which is then going to go down here. And just to be even more sly in our adventures here, I'm going to give the hint that, hey, there might be some stuff going on. Just in case somebody was here and happened to be requesting some items, you would actually be able to see those items flowing through. And we kind of see that it goes into the bottom. Also, something interesting that I can do to enclose this a little bit more is, if you didn't know, you can take like iron, like for example this industrial iron, and you can enclose the gap that is actually around a chute. So these iron bits can actually be used to encase that chute. So that entire chute has now been encased. And you can actually do this for the whole thing, and I could disguise this whole chute network, but I kind of want to leave it open because I think that's kind of the funny part. But yes, this whole thing is now almost ready to go. We just got to get a stock keeper. We got to get somebody who is going to be in this shop taking care of it. And you know what? I think I know just the mob. I mean, there's only one mob that it can be. Yes, an allay. Because this is the most spirit-like mob that we have on here. Get it? Spirit? Anyways, enough of the speakeasy stuff. Let's get this guy back. And then we've got to come up with a name for it. I think this is going to be the perfect shop mob. I'll tell you what, having this road has made this quite convenient getting back. So let's just make our way down and continue into the little sewer pass. This is so good. I've had so much fun building this, by the way. And then I have the perfect little seat right here. Maybe. Okay, maybe not. Is it because there's a trap door above it? I bet it is. I bet it's because there's a trap door. Wait, where did it go? No, I was like, wait, these can't fly through blocks, can they? No. Okay, so here you go, and I really hope... Okay, nope. I'm going to have to use a lead, ain't I? I'm almost positive I'm going to have to use a lead, because I don't think they will just... Nope, they won't set on there. You would think by now I would know these things, but there's just some things, you know? There it is. So, can I put this back on top? Yes, I can. Oh, that is going to be the perfect little bartender die tender. Oh, it's such a cute little guy. Now, I did come up with a name, and I think this one's going to be pretty good, and that's going to be Squeaks. Perfect. Now, thankfully, these have like unlimited range, so I've just got to connect into here and then go all the way back down and tap in, and we're ready to rock and roll. I'm kind of curious what this guy's little hat is going to look like, but let's place it in. Oh, it's adorable. I love this. Make sure to lock this, and now I've got to go back to my die setup, and I've got to get a lot of dies shipped over. Well, a little bit of dies shipped over, and I have all 16 of these set up. So we're gonna have 16 individual die stalls. All are gonna be priced, and they're gonna be priced kind of expensive. Like, I still don't want to hurt the economy of the diomat, so I still want to make this profitable. but I also don't want it to kind of ruin that whole business, right? So maybe we do like a diamond for 16 dies, like you get 16 individual dies and that's all you get for an entire diamond. Maybe I should do even less, like 8. You know what? I still think that maybe 16 is good. I think 16 is good for a diamond. Now, because I don't expect a whole lot of traffic from this shop, I am going to do it. I'm going to take my time on this, right? I'm going to place down and just simply put regular andesite funnels because not a lot of these even have enough dies in them to technically fill up an entire shulker box. I haven't spent a lot of time AFKing at this farm, so I mean, I only needed enough dies to make all of that concrete powder, and it doesn't take a whole lot of dye to do that. So it's been running fairly slow. But yes, I got to get all of these funnels in. This will allow me to grab the dyes to be able to change the color of these. And then we can take the item drains, and just like all of our other setups, we will use just regular andesite instead of brass here to do this, and same up here. And I'll just make a bunch of shulker loaders. Now, my buddy came over here. He wanted to check out what I was doing with all these dies, but I mean, I promise we are doing everything the correct way. I think. I will say though, this is hilarious watching all of these things spill out of here one at a time. All 16 of these modules essentially doing this. And beautiful. After a little bit of waiting, every single one of these containers are filled to max. And I think that's going to be more than enough to keep the dye shop in stock. But now, just like all of my my concrete powders, yep, we can just pop these on here too, and these will all get transferred very, very quickly, by the way, and get unloaded. It's only going to take a second. Now, I wasn't expecting this to happen, but I have hit the vault limit, which is kind of unfortunate here. Yeah, because it's no longer going in, which means we kind of have a problem. And I'm also not seeing brown dye. Maybe it's just not showing up in the list. Let me go check down here. I just want to make sure that at least all of these dies have spawned in, because I'm just going to leave the shulker boxes in here, I think. I mean, it'll be kind of hilarious if somebody walks up here and just sees all the shulker boxes, but this is just our die loading shulker boxes. And if I can just leave them here every time that something's requested, I mean, this will just restock that. Ooh, okay, perfect. Yes, all the dye colors are in stock, which means we now have the ability to start setting up the actual shop. And one at a time, I'm going to go through here and set up each of these dyes going in dye color order. Remember, like I said, 16 dyes per. That's exactly what I'm going to do. 16 dyes per diamond. Ah, that's going to be great. And so all of them are ready to go. All 16 loaded. Just simply place in our diamonds, and I think we are looking good. However, I do still need to get a jute box in here, and how am I gonna do this? I think other than this, the only thing it's missing is like a piano that would go really, really good in here. But I think for right now, I could set this glowstone, jute box, weathered glass behind that. I mean, that's pretty close to me to being a jute box. I mean, it is a jukebox. And now with this done, let's actually test out our little system over here just to make sure the request system is fully functional. I'm going to request out some black dye, and we wait a moment and another moment, and look at that. And we can actually see it getting thrown in the air and then dropped off. And beautiful. We have our black dye all ready to go. And this right here is such a cool thing. I've loved building this. This has been such fun. And so I'm still tasked with one thing, adding something that gives them a hint. So I worked up this beautiful thing. Shush, there's a speakeasy this way. Regulars only. And it literally points exactly to this location. I mean, it may be too much of a giveaway, but like, I don't know, it could make people think that it's this way. It could make people think that it's actually under this shop. I mean, I'm hoping this like helps lead them in the right direction, but I mean, honestly, if they don't find it, I guess they're crafting it themselves. I'm really hoping this indicator will let them snoop around and notice this looks a little bit off, work their way down here, and they're like, oh my, this is an entire area under here. And voila, they find the speakeasy. And they find Squeaks, which honestly, I hope they give Squeaks a pat. Now, just when you were about to think that today's episode is over, there is one thing I do want to add, and I want to make sure people actually see this. So as they're walking in, right here, I want to add a very little thing and I want to have it peeking through this. Yes, yes, I want the same it that was hinted at the other area. I want it to also be hinted here as well. And I want to place in a little statue, and we are going to have to make sure that it is blacked out back here. So this is going to go in just like so. And I mean, the straw statue mod is such a goofy thing, but man, I absolutely love it for things like this because you can hide little things just like so. And it's such a scary thing. Honestly, with that skin, oh man. Now, the only thing I need to do is actually get the skin off of this guy. So I got to reach in here. I think I have to break this to get to it. But yes, I do have to grab the player skin off of here. And I love how the player name is literally just it Pennywise. Like that's literally it. Oh, now this is perfect. I just have it crouching. Oh, that is horrifying looking. Oh, and by the way, this is something that my wife suggested when I was showing her this. She was like, you know, you should add the Pennywise in there. And I was like, you're right. I definitely should. Oh man, so props to her for this because I wouldn't have put that in there had it not been for her. But there it is. You come down here and you're like, oh, nope. I should probably back up. Also, something that I do want to add before I finish this up is right about here. I think I want to add some iron bars to make this look like it's actually graded off and it's just enough space for you to walk through. This is perfect. You walk right through here. You walk over the track. You have the iron bars that keep the area sort of graded off. Ah, this turned out fantastic, and I am so pleased with this, and I hope people find utility in it. I know Stam needed some dies specifically for other projects and things like that, but my goodness, I hope this gets some use. Now, if this didn't inspire you to go build your own shops on your own SMP worlds, then I don't know what would. So if you did enjoy today's video, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up. And without further ado, it is now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Hugs VC. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. And guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.